See, it's a good thing you're here.
It's a good thing I came in today.
The press and the Down Beach Current were notified of this meeting. A copy of same was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Would you please take a second and turn off all electronic equipment? We're going to stand for the flag salute. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rosie, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Blumberg?
Here.
Ms. Tawby? Here.
Okay, we have some appointments to discuss. Prosecutor, conflict prosecutor, public defender, and conflict public defender. And names respectively, Mr. Saye, Mr. Tripsch, Mr. Swift, and Mr. Lord. Is there any comment or discussion?
I'm good with all of them, Mike.
And I am too.
So am I. And we want to thank them for their service. We also have to talk about appointing a registrar. We have been using the Janice Callahan from Ventnor. She has resigned. Tara Mazza has the credentials, and I would recommend that we appoint her as registrar.
I'm okay with that too.
And I am good with that, Mike. The letter from Ms. Callahan suggested that she would act as a deputy. Do we need to do that, or does Tara do that? Once
We have to talk to her and see what, yeah, we do that.
Okay.
By law, do we need a deputy?
Yes, I believe we do. Is that correct, Scott? That we need a deputy registrar?
I think you do have to have somebody there as backup, yeah.
Right,
for some reason, on death certificate of marriage.
We've done this before where Ventnor was, Janice was originally our deputy.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Did she agree to take
Yes.
deputy? Okay.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
What's happened in the past, as I understand it, when I first came here, the Ventnor registrar acts as our backup, and we act as her backup as well. So it works as a mutual, just if one of them is not available through vacation or whatever.
Okay, we all right with that? Let's go department reports. Chief Wolfson?
Just in the process of preparing year-end reports for 2013. We're geared up for the alleged storm tomorrow, so as far as we know, nothing's changed from the report. 2 to 4, 4 to 6, I've heard varying things, and we're good to go. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Same
Thank you
here.
for your reports, Chief.
Maureen?
We're just getting ready. Our first court session is going to be January 13th. And, you know, things are just moving on. We're just tying up the end of the year stuff and looking forward to a good year.
Thank you, Maureen. Jim?
I'm Roger today. No, there's no report from Roger or Jim's office today.
Thank you, Jim. Rosie, you have anything from clerk? No? Scott, we're up to you.
Couple things. We've made some good progress with the Margate Terrace renewal of their lease or extension and the tax abatement. You have before you the resolutions and the agreements themselves. If you recall, Margate Terrace is trying to refinance. I think Fred Verna is here as well. Fred, you've had an opportunity. Fred's the president of their association as well. This would extend their pilot program. It would also extend their lease. If you're in agreement with this, I think the city administrator's happy with this and appreciate the help. The Terrace Association, a fellow named Pirro, James Pirro, who does many of these abatement programs, and he assisted. We were able to get this documentation done, and if you're in agreement, we'll move forward on this, and they can move forward with their refinancing.
I'm good with it, Scott. Brenda?
Yes, I am.
Mike?
Good by me.
Okay, I also have a ordinance coming up that Franz Adler, our recycling guru extraordinaire, has asked needs a definition of rigid plastics. I don't know if that made it over to here. I did prepare a very short ordinance amendment. We'll have that for the next meeting if it's not on the agenda here tonight. And that, maybe Franz will come in and give you an update on his recycling efforts. As you know, we're one of the leaders, actually in New Jersey, on recycling efforts, and Franz feels there's some kind of benefit. I don't really quite understand it, but we have to define rigid plastics.
I can help. They're old trash cans, kids' toys, kitchen sets, and we're going to be able to get points for the Sustainable Jersey program with that ordinance. Thank you.
Well, so that's what that one's all about. That's really all I have for now, Mayor.
Thank you, Scott. Mr. Deeney.
I have a fun one, Mayor, an easy one, and then one a little bit more difficult. The easy one, we received another plaque. Last meeting, it was Jim that presented a plaque to the city. We received a plaque in the mail. The City of Margate, in recognition of your local complete streets policy, presented by the New Jersey Department of Transportation. This was presented to a number of communities, apparently at what they call a New Jersey Complete Streets Summit. And the whole idea behind Complete Streets, and we did develop a policy earlier this year and you adopted it, is to make sure when you're designing streets and intersections and crossroads and so forth that you keep the pedestrian and the bicyclist in mind. And being that we live in a beach community where there are a lot of pedestrians and bicyclists, it makes sense for Margate to be part of such a program. We are, and that makes us that much more eligible for intersection improvement grants, of which we have a couple that we've applied for, and we're waiting to hear early in 2014. One is on the corner of Ventnor and Washington. As everybody knows, we have Jersey barriers sitting there, kind of unsightly and not necessarily the best design. And we have a design submitted to the New Jersey Department of Transportation looking for a grant to be able to complete intersection improvements there that will be safer for pedestrians. We have another one further up where the bus station is at that intersection, which is, remind me which street corner that is, but
Franklin.
And we have an application in for that intersection, as well as extension of sidewalk improvements throughout various parts of Ventnor Avenue. So your adoption of the policy earlier this year gave us some points. Now we're recognized, and we'll hang this plaque in some prominent place, probably over in Chief Wolfson's office. So thank you. Of more interest to the public, perhaps at this point, the mayor received over the holidays a letter along with at least 2 other beachfront property owners. The mayor received it on behalf of Margate, knowing that we are beachfront property owners, and a copy of which I got to read this morning, and I forwarded it to you electronically. I believe it was to go out of the clerk's office today, and there's a written copy in front of you here today. And it's appropriate, I believe, that we make the public aware that we received this letter. It's from David Rosenblatt, DEP. His position is Office of Flood Hazard Risk Reduction Measures, and it is the official letter from the DEP relative to the United States Army Corps of Engineers Brigantine Inlet to Great Egg Harbor Inlet Absecon Island Shore Protection Project, and it's asking Margate, it's a form letter, but it's asking Margate to either voluntarily give easements or to alert them that the state will be starting the process to take the easements through eminent domain. The part that concerns me is there's a section in the letter that I quoted in my cover letter to you, in which Rosenblatt states that the state has the right, with or without prior notice, other than this notice, to go ahead and institute the taking and then go through the formal process thereafter, that is, any negotiation following appraisals and so forth. While that isn't likely the initial intent, that legal provision is there, and that's why it's important that you know about it as soon as you can, the public knows about it, and it's on this public record, and you can begin the deliberation process or any notification or communication process that you wish. The solicitor is just getting this information the same time everybody else is. There's a 7-page attachment to the letter, which is the actual easement itself. It purports to be self-explanatory, but within 7 pages, there are a lot of terms to the easement, and there are phrases in there that I don't find self-explanatory, and so I think that we need, even if somebody were to say today, yes, let's give the state the easements, I think we should understand much more completely about what we are giving, and the purpose of me bringing it up here is so that everybody has a copy and everybody's on notice. It'll be on this record, and the solicitor can give you legal advice with respect to the specific meanings in the easement request.
Rich, I noticed at the end of the letter, though, that it says they want us to reply to them within the next 10 days, and the date of the letter is the 12th, so that would be like the 22nd. Can we get in touch with them and say, hey, look, we just got it, or?
That's part of the reason why I'm bringing it up today. We should at least acknowledge it and acknowledge it publicly, and you know, I leave that up to you in terms of what you want to do, but it's always polite to acknowledge your letter and ask for time for consideration, so I don't disagree with you.
Why don't we, I would suggest that we do that too. Send a brief note to Mr. Rosenblatt, tell him that we're in receipt of this and was brought up at the commission meeting for deliberation, and we'll get back to him ASAP. Is that okay? Okay, Mark?
Good by me.
Miranda? Okay.
Yeah, just so you know, as soon as I saw this, I did call Dave Rosenblatt. You may or may not know this. Dave Rosenblatt is from Ventnor. He's here, Rosenblatt family, and know him very well. And the fact is, I coached him basketball when he was a little kid. So called him up, said, Dave, we have this. We're going to consider it tonight. And I know the governing body has asked that we have a meeting with Commissioner Martin. So he was going to look into that. So he knows we have it. He knows we're looking at it. I also had an opportunity to speak with this fellow, David Appy, A-P-Y. He is a member of the Attorney General's office now. At one time, he represented a beach club that had fought the DEP a number of years ago. I'm familiar with the case. He is in charge of the beach replenishment and the acquisition efforts to obtain easements up and down the coast of New Jersey. And so, yes, they are aware of it as of today, nothing in writing. I talked to these gentlemen about an hour and a half ago. So they're aware of it. They're aware that we are now aware. So, and I reiterated the request about having a meeting with the DEP to see where we could go with that.
Yeah.
They're looking into
Are
it.
you saying we should not? I think we should send a letter.
Oh, I think so, official, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you do that,
you
Scott?
document it. Yeah, you document it. Gentlemen, we received.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, given I didn't know that Scott had the opportunity to call him today, so being that he has, what I would suggest is that Scott, that you kind of designate Scott as the spokesperson back to them for this purpose of this, and let him acknowledge that in the letter, and that way any communication can go quickly between them and Scott, and then he can bring it here for our consideration.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Scott?
That's fine. In fact, let me just repeat this. I've asked him again. I think that the governing body, or all three of you, or one of you, should have the opportunity to speak with Martin or whoever from the DEP directly. There are a lot of issues here. In fact, there's with Mr. Appy. I explained to him our legal situation and have emailed him a bunch of various documents, such as our ordinance, our referendum ordinance, so they know what it is we have to deal with. So right now, they want an easement for the public-owned beach. That's what they're saying here. And they're saying if we don't give it to them, they will take it. So that's where we are today. And I guess we saw the paper today, which I didn't know that was coming in the paper. But it's in our state constitution, it's in our DEP statutory authority, it's also in the flood statutory authority, that they can take the land for public purpose. So we have a difficult decision to make here, and it's going to be up to you guys.
We'll take care of the note then, or notifying us, okay? I thank you. All right, Lisa?
Happy New Year, everyone. A few things. Resolution on tonight's agenda, you'll see, is for an amendment to our cafeteria plan document, and which encompasses a change to our FSA plan. If you recall, last meeting, I asked your authorization to make an amendment to the plan to provide for a carryover provision for our employees in their flexible spending account due to changes in the IRS ruling under Section 125. So this allows our employees to carry over any unused balance they may have at the end of the year to the following year of up to $500. Okay, also, there's a resolution authorizing our temporary budget. I am in the process of trying to close out the year end, so it'll take, several days to get that done. Once that's done, I'll be able to enter the budget, and statutorily, we're allowed to authorize 26.25% of the prior year's budget to be used for our temporary budget until we adopt our budget for 2014. Once it's entered, I will notify all department heads when they could begin charging for this year. Every year, included in our annual JIF assessment is an allotment for a safety budget. It's $2,000. And the way it works every year is that we pay this. It's part of our annual assessment. It allows us to purchase safety-related items, and we make the purchases through, Deputy Chief Adams, and then we submit the voucher for reimbursement from the insurance, although we're actually prepaying for it in our assessment, and then we're asking for our money back. So we have the option, rather than doing that, we can reduce our assessment, and I recommend just including the $2,000 in our regular budget, our safety budget, and it just eliminates a step, because to me it just doesn't make any sense to pay something and then ask for it back. So with your approval, I would like to notify the JIF that we will not be including it in our assessment, but we will be including it in our regular budget.
I'm fine with that.
Is that okay?
Fine.
Okay, thank you. Also, we received the other day an additional $325,000 approximately from FEMA for one of our projects. That was for our debris removal project. We still have not received the total amount that was eligible. And to date, all our FEMA proceeds and insurance proceeds due from the storm totals just over $1,869,000. I did receive notice that there is an additional amount coming, I believe about $20,000. So far, it has not hit our account. I also spoke with Mike Garcia of Ford Scott today and scheduled for him to come in. Hopefully, he'll be in Wednesday the 8th if I have everything available to him. Otherwise, he'll be in the following week to begin preparation of our annual financial statement and our debt statement, which are due at the end of the month and then in February as well. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Frank?
We're getting a storm tonight, as everybody knows. We're prepared for it. We got all our equipment ready today, and all the guys are on standby, ready to be called in. It's probably going to be a long night for us, but we are able to handle it. We have plenty of salt, and we'll see how much snow we get. Hopefully, we won't have to push any. We're supposed to get high winds. Maybe it'll blow it away. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank.
All right.
Dan?
Just along the same lines as Frank and Dave, the fire department has made our storm preparations. We are ready to go. We're just watching the storm to see what happens. We're in the process of working on our year-end report and review of our 2013 incidents to see what we can do different and what we can do better. That's it. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to you, then. Marty?
Nothing to report.
Brenda?
Just two small things. Happy New Year, everybody. And thank you in advance to Frank and his team for keeping the roads cleared and safe for us. Thank you. The last couple of meetings, I brought up amending the salary ordinance, either amending it or creating a new one, stating that merit increases be done in the daylight and be brought forth publicly and voted on by the commission, needing a majority to pass. And I haven't heard anything, so I don't know how Commissioner Blumberg or Mayor Becker feels about that.
I'd like to talk more about it. I'm really not a proponent of merit increases, number one. I'm really not. However, I'm trying to be fair, and I'm certainly, willing to, talk about this in future time.
Commissioner Blumberg.
My understanding of the law is that these items that you want to discuss publicly are not for public discussion. So I'm not real sure that what you're asking for is within the realm of the law. And I rely on, at least in my department head, as well as the business administrator, to make any recommendations related to salary. They come to me. I then will approve or not approve them. So how you handle increases and merit increases and salary adjusts in your department, I believe is up to you. And again, however you want to handle that is fine. But I certainly believe we should operate within the law and within the legal rights of the employees. And certainly we're not going to discuss an employee's salary increase and or performance in public.
I don't think that's what Commissioner talked.
Okay, then I don't understand what it is she's asking for.
I guess you're just asking for an update about whether, we should, at some point, well, why should you talk, rather than me talk. I don't.
I just think, there's union contracts and there's built-in, increases and everything. I just think, to be fair, it should be in the daylight. And this is the first that I'm hearing that it might be illegal, so I don't want to do anything that's not legal. So then maybe we should consult further with Rich Genie and Scott. But I think it's just a transparent way to handle things, and I think other municipalities do that, so I hope that it's not illegal. Also, I read Scott's article in the paper this morning. He was surprised that it was in there. I wanted to comment on the pump stations. When somebody from the group brought up the pump stations instead of the dunes, the group that opposes the dunes, I went straight away to our city engineer and spoke with Ed Wahlberg, and I said, is this something we should be considering? Would this work? And he said no. So I don't think we want to speculate. We want to put accurate information out there. That's all.
Thank you, Brenda. I just like to wish everybody, as others have done, Happy New Year, happy and healthy, prosperous year for all of us. And then at this point, we will open to public comment. You can speak 3 minutes on anything that was discussed here today. I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Just explain what she was just talking about, because no one in the audience knows what she's talking about.
There was an article in the paper today that this, that, and the other might be better than the dunes. Pump stations were mentioned as an alternative. And I looked into that myself with our city engineer when it was brought up, because if there was an alternative that we should explore, I think we should do that. But he said that it's not, it wouldn't work.
So you're saying no one should accept it in the paper, or is that?
Yeah, I'm just saying that that we want to make sure that we get accurate information out there and not speculation.
Okay. All right. Public comment.
Sewell 22 West Drive. I fear that Commissioner Taube perhaps read far too much into the article insofar as pump stations were not seen as a solo solution, but rather to be used in conjunction with what the solicitor himself urged, a master jetty and elevated bulkheads, which give you a permanent protection. Although I do take issue with the solicitor concerning the cost is nominal in exchange for the 17 or 18 replenishments we'd be on the hook for. Do this one time with a master jetty, enhanced bulkheads, and if you want to throw the pumps in as an auxiliary, that's fine. But I'm going to tell both of you, Mayor and Commissioner Taube, that we're now T-minus 12 months to the campaign time. And you're staring down a 64% of the community, a super-duper majority, who are adamantly opposed to the dunes. Now, you can take a position opposite, but politically, it's sort of like Harry-Carry. On a different topic, Mayor, you know, you wouldn't have to sit here wringing your wrist and wringing your hands about merit pay. Good Lord. Merit pay? You already have benefits that far exceed the private sector. And talking about that, Mayor, I once again vehemently object to you grandfathering the city prosecutor because it's discriminatory, Mayor. Because if you're going to grandfather the city prosecutor, then you should grandfather the city commissioner, i.e. Mr. Blumberg. And it's discriminatory, and it really rankles my sense of ethical good behavior. You don't want to have an ethical breach going forward in this next campaign, do you, Mayor? Mayor, that's a question.
No, I said no.
Oh, no, I wouldn't either. I think that would be Harry-Carry. I believe in this current economic state with a legion of unemployed lawyers around, that you could advertise city prosecutor and have a line that would circumnavigate this building. And they might even do it at a reduced cost, just to enhance their resume. So once again, Mayor, I urge you to be very careful going forward in opposing the 64% of this community that are staunchly against the dunes. If you look at, if these dunes are so important...
10 seconds, John.
I'll sum it up in 10 seconds, Mayor.
Thank you, John.
If these dunes were so god-awfully important, why didn't they bother putting them back over one-third of Ventnor? You know why, Mayor? Do you know why? Mayor, are you there?
I'm here, John.
Any idea, Mayor?
It doesn't matter what I... No, I don't know why, John. Would you help me?
Do you have any idea?
No, I don't, John.
Clueless? Feckless? Hapless?
What?
But let me give you the answer, Mayor.
John, your time's up. Thank you.
Well, I'll proceed in the next 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Sharon Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue. I want to thank Mr. Deeney for bringing that letter to the public, information at a meeting when it can be discussed. That is real transparency. That's what it's about, not what people are making. And I also want to agree with Commissioner Taube about getting correct information out there. In a recent newscast, Ann Pancoast was on saying that we shouldn't have dunes because there are 3 bulkheads that were destroyed, were her words. And I've heard that before from her and other people. And I don't remember anybody, we don't have any documents from the city. And are there three bulkheads, wait, Commissioner Taube, I know you want to answer this, that were destroyed? Not have damages, but destroyed. And how does Ann Pancoast know this? Have those documents been opened? Could you answer that, Commissioner Taube, in the interest of accurate information?
Sharon, it's public comment. We're not going to
It is
get into
public comment and discussion. It's a work meeting.
Mayor Becker probably can answer that. I mean, you know what bulkheads were just...
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed means They're gone, completely
Kenyon,
gone.
Lancaster, and Sumner Avenue.
Destroyed.
Yes,
Okay, and they had to be completely rebuilt?
yes.
Completely rebuilt. That is
Okay.
good.
And damage to 21 Street Ed bulkheads too, but...
And that's been discussed here at meetings.
Destroyed, not damaged, destroyed.
They've
Destroyed.
been completely replaced.
And they were in perfect shape before the storm. So the damage was caused by the storm, which is what you're trying to lead people to believe, which isn't true. They were probably in disrepair. In any event, Solicitor, if you could, I'm still really not clear what it is we're arguing about with the state. Is it that it's dunes or no dunes? I mean, there's certainly a separation legally between the easement issue and whether the project's happening. I mean, there's certainly clear law that they can come in and take the easements. We're all clear on that, I believe. But I think we're still not really clear on whether legally they can come in and do the project, legally, based on our vote and everything. Is that what we're kind of going back and forth with the DEP, whether they can come in and do it or they can't?
Why don't you finish your comment, and then we'll...
Okay, you know, because I listened to the tape again of the meeting when they were here, and clearly somebody, whether it was from the DEP or the Army Corps, specifically said that part of the project, part of the federally funded money that they have, they can use and are using to build a seawall bulkhead in Atlantic City, in the inlet, to protect the boardwalk. So, you know, until I went back and heard that, I was like, wait a minute, they're saying we can't use any of that money for anything but dunes or berms. It can't be used for bulkheads. And then I heard that on the tape. So then it made me think, okay, what is it this really about? So I will stop, and if you could just, I would just like your opinion. You seem to be pretty well versed on it. Thank you.
Briefly, Scott, why don't you bring
Brief.
this
Don't let any people...
I doubt that I can really clear up your thinking, Sharon, but here goes. If, one step, if the state takes the beach from Margate, as they can under the state constitution, as they can under statutory authority, under the DEP, and under flood control, if they take our beach, they don't need our permission. They can do whatever they want. That's the issue. That's it.
They're taking that under the easement executive order, is that your take on it?
Well, their letter says if the city's unwilling, that this office, their office, will take the easements in accordance with applicable law. So the state is telling us, you either cooperate or we're going to take the easements anyway. That's where we are.
Okay.
The feeling is we should push to have a meeting before we officially respond.
I think we have to recognize the fact that you have state government, which is far more powerful than Little Margate, and if they take our beach from us, we don't have our beach anymore. So what do we do in that situation? Well, wait, we had a non-binding referendum. Well, that's as good as far as it goes. But in my opinion, and the governing body has to make this decision, we're either going to ultimately sit down with them and try to hammer out what's best for Margate, or they're going to take the beach and build the dunes without our cooperation. That's it. Well, I think they just want an easement. I don't think they would, who knows what they're going to do. I don't think they'll take everything. I don't think they'd fire a beach patrol and put in a state beach patrol. Well, they have done that. They do have state beach patrols further up north.
Yes, they do. All right, you okay? There. All right, anyone else?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I'd like to, first of all, wish everybody a Happy New Year. And in regards to the anti-dune people, I've come up with a little prayer. I'd like to invoke the Lord. Lord, give me the power to accept what I can't do anything about. Okay? And that's about it. Now, what this difficult decision is that you're talking about, Scott, this is not a difficult decision, okay? Not a difficult decision at all. The state's going to do what they want. This is what I've said from day one, all right, which nobody would listen to me. So let's spend a lot of money to no purpose, okay? The state's going to do what they want, and if you don't like it, it's too bad. And really, that's what it is. Now, you can, I mean, you want to sweet tooth, sugarcoat it or what have you, go ahead, sugarcoat it. Let's sit down, and they're going to tell you what they're going to do, and that's it. And that's it. So, Happy New Year. And as I said before, in September or August or October, there's going to be a beach. There's going to be a dune. And you're either going to like the dune or you're not going to like the dune, but there's going to be a dune. So you can keep wringing your hands or what have you. There's going to be a dune. And you can say, a little bit about it or a lot about it, I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. There's going to be a dune. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Thursday. Anyone else? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Tawby?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Before we adjourn the meeting, everybody understands that we did send Commissioner Martin a letter asking to sit at the table with him and take advantage of his offer. We haven't had a response yet, so that is in the works. That's all I wanted to remind the people of. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Tawby?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you all for being here.